Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So if we take a quick look across the board for crypto, we are seeing a sea of green with just a few red. But for the most part, we are seeing a nice green. We could even see XRP up almost 5% on the daily. And this is just on the daily. Over the last couple days, a lot of these projects have been doing very well. I made a video the other day talking about how XRP was pumping and the reason why, and a lot of people said, well, Nick, XRP is not pumping. But, you know, it ran from roughly like $1.92 on the lows up to like $2.35. So it was up over 20+% in the last 3 days, and now we are sitting at about roughly $2.40. So XRP is actually doing a very, very good job of not only bouncing off of the lows, but also being a very significant outlier in this market and showing a lot of strength when most of the market has been pretty weak. Now, let's actually take a quick look at the number one reason why the market has been doing good. Even stocks up, over $1.3 trillion added to the US stock market in just one day. Most of this is because of what Trump has been talking about. Basically, he's talking about how the economic boom is coming for the economy. And again, a lot of this does have to tie back to tariffs. We know that a lot of the discussions from Trump has been around tariffs. Now, we didn't get any discussion on tariffs for one day. And we could see exactly what could happen if we could stop talking about tariffs. Now, the big question is, are we just going to pump throughout the weekend? And then on Monday, do we get more tariff discussions? Well, that's the big question. And we just don't know, right? We don't know. So we definitely need to be really kind of watching the markets going over the weekend, seeing what happens over the weekend, and then also analyzing what is being talked about on Monday morning, especially coming from the Trump Truth Social account. And then really kind of looking at how stocks open and how they close out the day on Monday. But mainly throughout the week, we're going to be focused on a lot of things. And by the way, if you guys do want to get access to a weekly market breakdown as well as a mid-market breakdown, because we do a mid-weekly market breakdown as well as like a full-on weekly candle close breakdown, you guys are more than welcome to join the premium side of the free Discord, because that's where I give out very, very in-depth exclusive updates for those members. So if you guys are, interested in something like that, there's going to be a link down in the description below. But outside of that, let's actually look at the overall market performance. So we could see that the crypto market cap is sitting at about almost $2.75 trillion. Most of the market rebounding a bit in the last 24 hours. CAS is up over 12.5%. We are seeing a nice green across the board for altcoins. And also the last 7-day percentages are also looking pretty good as well. Nothing too crazy there. In terms of the top gainers and losers over the last roughly, we'll say 30 days, again, there isn't like a massive amount of green here. We're still looking at a lot of altcoins bouncing back off of the lows. There's still a lot that are heavy red in the last 30 days. And if we look at the last 7 days, this is where you could actually see XRP up about almost 2%. Again, nothing too crazy. We're mainly looking at, when it comes to like XRP, not so much the 7-day, gains going off of these gains back here, but the gains going off of the lows. Like I said, almost $1.93, $1.92 on some exchanges. And now we're back to 240. Again, it's just showing you the strength that XRP does have right now. Off of the lows, but again, we're still just bouncing back off of the lows. We're not making positive gains on like the 7-day or even on the 1 month, for an example. But I have been focused more so on the 1-year chart on CMC, really kind of just analyzing what's happening here in terms of the closes, where we are seeing support and resistance form, and ultimately just focusing on structure. Now, Bitcoin has also been doing very well. We've also been hearing a lot of bullish news from big banks like BNY Mellon. Just recently, the big news was the fact that BNY Mellon, the oldest US bank, is expanding services for Circle, allowing select clients to send and receive funds for USDC transactions, boosting stablecoin adoption in traditional finance. Now, again, this is going to continue to happen. We're going to continue to see these big banks adopting and accepting stablecoins. Now, what's interesting about this is happening right off of the announcements of SAB 121 being repealed. We also got a big green light for banks recently around crypto, so that's exactly why this is happening now, and will most likely continue to happen going forward as well. Like, I don't think that this is going to be the only big bank that starts to kind of make a big shift like this around crypto, stablecoins, and even digital assets. But also, when we look at Bitcoin, we do have some room to grow here. We have a lot more work to do as well. And if we really look at the 1 month, you can clearly see it. I have been focused more so on Bitcoin structure, just like XRP structure, but I've also been focused on the altcoin side of things, because if we even go over here to the altcoin season index, we could see that we're still in a Bitcoin driven market, with the top 100 coins performances over the last 3 months being really rough. I mean, this is a very bearish altcoin market right now, while we do really kind of just focus on Bitcoin and wait for Bitcoin to have some positive gains. If we look at Bitcoin on like the 3-day, for an example, and I really kind of just want to go back in time to March of 2024, because we initially hit a big area of resistance back in March of 2024. We chopped for a while against that resistance while just kind of chopping to the downside. You could see all the rejections off of it, and every single time that we did reject, we had a big sell-off. We had another one. This was actually a lower level of resistance. It was like right around like 68, almost 69K. Again, chopping to the downside. This one was really rough because it was the lowest low of this entire sell-off. And then we had another spike to the upside. Now, this was actually a lower high, but then the low was a higher low. And then this is when a trend started to form. We had a nice run up to the upside. Again, very shallow, higher high here. Again, higher low, big move to the upside. Now, this is where we had a very significant higher high. And I'm going off of this high here, this high here. We hit a wall right around the same exact levels of some of these wicks on the highs from the summer of 2024. But once we broke over it, which we did here, we retested the highs going all the way back to March. We sold off, held the trend line, and then had that impulse. This is the same exact thing that we're really kind of looking at on our current structure that we do have over here. Now, we do have 3 major levels that we really want to watch here, because number one, we do have already our lows. And if we're even just going off of actual candle body closes, we have a candle body close here, candle body close here. We already have our lower low. This is still technically bearish structure. Even though things are looking good, XRP's pumping, the market's pumping, we have yet to actually claim a higher high, which is why our first level of interest here on a 3-day candle close, which is coming in a day and roughly 20 hours, is $87,230. We want to close over that $87,230 level. When we are trading above this, watch for those candle closes. If we go to the daily, the structure is going to look a little bit different, because again, on the daily, well, now we have highs going all the way up as high as like 95K, which is why when I go back to the 3-day, I'm not even really kind of thinking about 95K. I'm actually thinking about the next target up here, 98.5K. So until we reclaim, the first target here of 87,200, we still have to look for 98.5. Once we reclaim 98.5K and we close over that on the 3-day, we can confirm a breakout. But that's a big move from where we're at now. The thing that we're really kind of looking at here is, do we have to pump 17% before we think that the market's bullish again? No. All we really need to do, okay, and this goes all the way back here, because again, we didn't think that the market was bullish when we hit 65.6K. No, we knew that the market was bullish the second that this was our low. So when we think about what we're looking at over here, okay, we have our low. Once we start having higher lows here, which, you know, it could be around one of these major wicks here. So this could be our next low. The second that we put in a higher low, followed by a higher high going off of the 87.2K level or so, once we start to gain traction on bullish structure, then we could say, yeah, we are bullish again. The structure is getting very bullish. Because after we have something like this formed on the chart, we will target these higher highs, which is why we're waiting to see if this price action is going to maintain over the next couple of days, but also ultimately next week is what we're really kind of looking at. Maintaining solid price action, getting through the noise of, you know, tariff discussions or whatever it is. We want to watch stocks closely because, again, the weekend is technically manipulation time, right? Like, we see manipulative price action over the weekend. It's the best time to manipulate these markets. So, you know, getting through the weekend, number one. Then we look at how stocks open on Monday. We look at the tariff discussions or any headline articles that are going to come out that pushes the markets lower. When it comes to XRP, again, solid structure here. We already have our low. This is why XRP is actually pumping. So we have our significant lick wick here, right? So this is our liquidity wick, which is why I have this being a low. Then we have our higher low. So now we already have a higher low on XRP. So going off of just structure-wise in terms of lows, this is already bullish. XRP is already bullish. We have a big area of resistance here, okay? And this is where we get concerned because this is $2.45 to about $2.80. This is where everything could change. We could pump up into this. All right, so let's just kind of zoom out for a second. Let's go to the daily. So we could either do two things here. We can break up to this range, break out, or we could break up to this range, sell off, right? Chop, make a new low, and then continue down here where, you know, we fill a massive gap. Ultimately, the big area of interest is like right around roughly $1.63 to $1.77. So if we are going to sell off, this is what I would be looking at. And then from here is where we actually start that big move to the upside, where we actually officially break out and we clear even the highs going all the way back here to January. We start to break to $4 plus. This would be the bearish side of the market. This would also align with either, you know, Bitcoin having a much larger sell-off and putting in the official bottom on this chart, which would be similar to like the August lows. This would be a massive, wick to the downside. It would be a lick wick. Where would we basically bottom out on? Well, I'm really kind of looking at about 73K, just really kind of retesting the highs. There's so many wicks back here where we would be targeting, but 72.8K, 72.9K would be the area of interest. This would be, and if we actually retest this resistance zone around like 87.2K, this would be a total sell-off of about 16% on Bitcoin. With how high, you know, Bitcoin dominance is, XRP would most likely have a big sell-off as well. This would be a 37% sell-off. It's questionable on if we do target this. The big signal would be losing the previous lows. So this is what we really want to focus on, really avoiding, in my opinion. We want to avoid that big sell-off, which is why I think that we should strap in and get ready for next week, because, you know, there could be a lot of big updates that do get pushed next week that change the entire trajectory of these charts. So again, so far things are looking good, but we just need to be ready for, you know, what happens on Monday. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.